Hello from Central Illinois, Zone 6. I hope you guys are having time in your gardens. Today is very hot and humid here. Actually, it's not that hot. It's just really humid, and it is hard to keep a dry face right now. So we are going to plant up My Coleus Wall. And honestly, from the few videos I do have out there, this is one of the most popular, and several people wanted to see this space before it got all planted. So I'm going to show that today, as well as put together all of the plantings in there today. I always look forward to this. This is my big showstopper back here on my patio, and I love it. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you the scene. This is my Coleus Wall planter box. I haven't always had it here. In the first few years, it was a compilation, a hodgepodge of a bunch of different pots, elevated and just thrown in there. And it looked great once everything was planted and grown in its fullness. But in all other times, it looked like a junkyard. So when we put the pool in over here, I had said, like, you know what, can we make this look a little bit nicer? And I found this on the Gardener Supply website, and I will put that link in below. They come in several different colors, several different sizes, and I believe this one is 8 feet long. It's either 7 or 8 feet, but you can see that it fits just perfectly under that bay window there. And this year I have removed some of the bottom pots. I always have had things down there just to fill in the empty space below, but I kind of wanted to go with a cleaner, simpler look this year, and even some of these things over here might change. But this can take a lot of flowers, a lot of plants. Earlier in the season, before it got warm, I filled this with lettuce seeds, and I had kale, butter crunch lettuce, a romaine, a mix, and several other different kinds I can't think of right now. And I thought I filmed it. Apparently I didn't hit record, so I didn't get any of it. But I filled this with lettuce, and 3 things worked. Arugula, that was the last one. I got a lot of arugula and a few butter crunch, and I think that maybe I'd washed the seeds away or birds ate them or something, but the others didn't take. But we have been having salads and eating on this for the past few nights, and I just cleared everything else and I put it in the fridge, and I will make salads tonight and tomorrow and finish that off. Oh, I love that I have found 2 seasons to work with it. This bed, once I plant it, will take me all the way to frost. And last year, I think I did film, I'll put that up here, I filmed me taking apart the Coleus Wall, which was sort of fun. And I take some of them and I try to overwinter them. I did a video about that a few years ago, and I'm hoping to do another one this year and do more of the follow-up of what it looks like during the winter and then what I'm left with in the spring. So mostly this will have Coleus, but I'm going to add a few other things in there. I'll show you what I have. This is my table of options. I love my pinks and purples, I love my plums, but some of these Coleus in the fall, when I am sort of over the pinks and purples, not over, just I've had a lot of it and I'm looking for those warmer tones. These colors really, I'm really glad that I put them in the fall. One of the items in here is very different from what I usually choose, and that is this one right here. And this is a Vermillionaire, and it's a Kufia. It's full sun. I am not an orange person. Peach is okay, orange not so much. However, I know hummingbirds love this, and since it will be right up here under the window, which this is where my kitchen is beyond there, and this is where we sit, I would like to see more hummingbirds there. And I'll put a feeder on the window here pretty soon too. So I am going to lay these out in the bed and see if I can get a pleasing combination. I grew from seed this Emerald Tower Basil. I saw these plants in a magnificent form at the Botanical Gardens in Denver, and ever since then I've tried to recreate some neat scene with that and also eat off them at the same time. So hopefully I will find a place for those to go. Okay, I have them all laid out in the best way I could do. I don't know if I'm completely happy with it, but I go through this every year where I lay everything out and I hem and haw, and you know, once they start putting on their size and their growth, then I really start to fall in love with it. Now I do have drip run to this. It's buried underneath the soil that I just added, so I will pull that up, turn that on, and make sure that works after I plant it. I am going to put some slow release biotone fertilizer on the surface and scratch that in and go ahead and plant all of them. This back patio of mine faces west, so the sun that they get here is pretty hot and pretty intense. And I have experience with all of these brands, all of these varieties, and they have done very well for me in the heat as long as they stay well watered. Everything is planted and today is a new day. Yesterday was just blazing hot and I just couldn't stay dry. So I went in to cool off and maybe finish the video, and then dinner happened and so many other things happened. So today's new day. As you can see, this is planted behind me, and since these tags will be buried very quickly because everything in here is a vigorous grower, I want to go through the box and name all of the plants. Let's get a good idea what it looks like now, because this is a striking before and after. I have my Myers lemon tree over here in a pot. This is my 3rd year with this tree, and I've only received a few lemons, but it has never gotten really consistent care, so I'm going to work on that. And then this is a blue Colorado spruce over here, which I picked up from a box store, and it was tiny. And it was maybe $3 or $4, and I didn't really read the tag very well. I thought it was 30 to 60 inches, and I thought, okay, that'd be perfect. A little evergreen tucked away there, and I love that blue color. But I reread the tag yesterday when I was going to plant it in the landscape, and they get 30 to 40 feet tall, Colorado spruce. I should have known that. It is so pretty and so blue. And see, here is the tag here, Colorado spruce. And I don't know what kind of heat stroke I was having at the time, but you know, I thought that would be small, but it's not. It's not going to be small. But companion plants, hydrangea ornamental grasses. I don't know what I was thinking, but to maintain its size, I believe it's going to stay in the pot here. Okay, let's go over our Coleus and other things. Like I said before, I typically like pinks and purples and pastels, so this is a very different color mix, very deep, almost broody mix, I think. And I don't know, I may regret it. Right now, they look healthy and I'm excited, but I'm missing my pastels. So I may be adding some things. But this is my Emerald Tower Basil here. And then this one is, kept the tags here so we can remember. This is Coleus Heartbreaker, and I have planted this many times, and it's just gorgeous. And if I were planting with flowers, I would have grabbed this pink and then that burgundy out of there and made a basket. Look at that beautiful coloring. Is Proven Winners Colorblaze Torchlight. Now most Coleus are shade plants, but I know Proven Winners has this line, whenever it says Colorblaze, then it is good for sun or shade. And I know when it says sun to shade, you think shade, like full sun's going to fry it, but these things, as long as they're watered, do magnificent. I think I might actually break the tip off there and make that a little bit more bushy. Now here, I do love this one. This is going to be my spiller plant here. And this is another Proven Winners Colorblaze Chocolate Drop Coleus. And this thing will just grow and grow, and I want it to drape down the side. I will take little pieces, parts of it, and maybe put on the side over here and just sort of dot them down, so maybe my entire front will be covered with chocolate drop Coleus. Then here we have our Coleus Redhead. Now, when I do my reds, it's either the Proven Winners Ridiculous, or there's another one called Beale Street, which I do love. But I couldn't find those this year, and I did not do any mail order Coleus this year. First time in a long time. Now this one, most people are familiar with. This is very easy to find. Colorblaze Limelight Coleus. This thing is the most prolific, fastest growing Coleus that I know of. This will get way up here in the window. So trimming that down vigorously, but it will put on quite a show. And then I'm back to my Vermillionaire here, which might get swallowed and just peek through. And if you saw my other Coleus video, I was talking about this Coleus and how much I loved it. And looking at it right now, you think there's nothing special, but I don't know. I just fell in love with this. And with these two color combinations, oh, it was just stunning. And a lot of you put in the comments what kind it was, and somebody found this. And I looked it up, and you were spot on. Marrakesh, I believe. And I had found it before at one garden center, always unmarked, like they had overwintered it in the greenhouse so many times and they lost the variety years ago. And it's actually a nursery that doesn't really care about names, which that doesn't set well with me because I want to know the names of things. But I did find it actually this year at Ace Hardware. I found 3 of them because I'm going to really try and overwinter this one so I can keep it. Okay, and moving back here we have what will be beautiful come September. Will be beautiful, but it will really shine in the fall because of those warmer colors. So Colorblaze Wicked Hot. I also would do sometimes a Sedona Coleus or a Campfire Coleus could be substituted for that one. And then here, I just love the name, Colorblaze Wicked Witch. I don't know, if it says wicked in it, it just makes me want it. Another Marrakesh here. Another Limelight Coleus. This is a bit smaller. I overwintered this one, and I did not have good plant skills this winter, so it should be a lot more robust, but it looks a bit weak and tattered, but it will put on growth. This is another variety, and I have 1, 2, I think I only fit 2 in here. I don't know what happened to the third. But this is one from last year that I also overwintered. You can see that that fared a little bit better than the Limelight. But I thought that these colors together, like this combination right here, was really pretty. So I have another Wicked Hot, another Wicked Witch, another of my grown from seed, another Marrakesh, another Vermillionaire. Okay, here is a Coleus Kong Red. These can be found at the box stores. These are really easy to find. And I think this is my largest leaf find. I have another Emerald Tower Basil. I think it might get swallowed up here, but I'm gonna try that anyway. That was also grown from seed. And another Heartbreaker, because I'm trying to add my pinks in whenever I can. And this one. This is one of my favorites. This is called a Fishnet Stockings. And look at that. I have a lot more purple here than what it looks like in the photo. See those two? But with the sun and shade, they just put on different colors. You can see my tubing here. This is 1/4 inch tubing with emitter holes every 6 inches. And my hose bib is over there with my timer. I'll move my finger. So it comes up the side here, and I have basically 3 runs. It snakes around here, coming over here, and then ending. This amount of water might be a little bit of an overkill for this area, but since this receives so much sun and it's sitting on this concrete, which I think when you're back here, you're baked from the top and the bottom at the same time, that I would rather err on the part of too much water that I can back out and maybe clip off some sections than not enough water and then having to stake my hands through the plants, just kind of weave through there, because these branches on these coleus are so breakable. Now the great thing about them is that they grow back, and every branch you can root and grow more plants, but I don't want to harm the plants managing the water system. And cutting out water is easier than putting in water once things are grown. And all throughout the summer, as I do trim these, I do have mason jars in the kitchen full of coleus growing roots. Now let's work on the lemon tree. And there we have it. The Coleus wall is mostly done. The coleus are planted. I just have to figure out what to do with that blue spruce. I want to plant some things around it, but I don't have anything in my stockpile just yet. Now, the Myers lemon I have had for 3 years. I've gotten a few lemons off of it, and for the first few years, I realized it was just getting used to its new home. And then we had a really good year. I bring it in the winter, and indoors, it does pretty well. It actually flowers, and oh, the flowers smell beautiful. But this year, we had mealy bugs, and it lost all of its leaves, and I thought it was dead. I brought it outside early spring on my covered porch and treated it several times, and then slowly brought it outside onto the patio, and it is doing much better. And it is not full of leaves, it's not robust, but it's good. And no signs of bugs anymore. And I added a little bit of citrus fertilizer just because it has been struggling, and probably this is a good idea whether it's struggling or not. But this Jack Citrus Feed 2010 by 20 is a tablespoon for a gallon of water. And that's why I had that blue jug. And then I put some Diamond Frost Euphorbia down here, and I thought that would look so pretty if I do get any lemons this summer, to have that white, wiry flowers next to those bright yellow lemons. And then I have a spider plant from inside. I grew this from one of my pups, and I do not have water running to either one of these pots. And the Euphorbia will help me water the lemon tree by telling me when it is too dry. So that was another reason to plant those, because I can easily forget it because this is set up on water and I get busy, and sometimes I miss it. And that is why this plant, I think, has struggled. It's my lack of consistency. So that's a kind of a touchstone for me. And then this one here is not set up on water, but they don't like to be wet. They like to be on the dry side. I just soaked it in there to get it nice and settled, and then I probably won't water it again for at least a week, maybe more. They've been sitting on my porch since spring, and I probably have watered them 2 or 3 times. Doesn't get as much sun on my front porch, but they're pretty hardy, which is why I put it there. And I thought that burst of color, that brightness, would help lighten up sort of the broodiness I have going on in my Coleus wall. Well, that is a project off my to-do list, and it feels so good. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear how you grow your Coleus and what your favorite variety is too in the comments. And I hope you have time in your garden today. Bye.